Hello, fellow trucking enthusiasts and potentially real truckers. This is American Truck Simulator on Open Beta 1.40. I am doing something a little different because I am having huge, massive problems with my computer and I'm really stressed out. I've decided to tune down the recording to 30 frames a second instead of 60 to see if that can help alleviate stress off my CPU a little bit so that I don't get stuttering in my frames. I can run this game perfectly on my own at 60, which I am, but for recording, it's like it's too much with the camera, the microphone, and everything. So we are near Tacoma, and we are going to be going all the way. Yeah, so Tacoma, Washington, and we're going to go all the way into Winnemucca, Nevada. I had to think for a second there because I'm half asleep, and no offense, I'm not American. I've never really sat there and looked at the map. But, with American Trucking Simulator, let's just get into it here. I'm starting to learn the map a lot better and trucks and what they look like. And now when I'm like out and about and I see these trucks, I'm like, hey, that's an international, or, you know, that's a Mac. And I can kind of tell just by like looking at it a little bit. So we're carrying this for a nice little distance there, and it's got a good payout per mileage. We got to look at our left mirror there so we don't clip it at the top left. I'm going to go over the curb a little bit. And that's what can be tricky, is when you've got a really long one. You know what I'm saying? It can be really hard to navigate it. Let's see if I can get out of here. So I'm still using the Logitech G29 steering wheel. I got $60 back into my bank account due to a price matching from Best Buy. So I paid $340 Canadian instead of $400. So that makes it a lot more attractive. We don't want to hit that classic car. If we look at the top left of our mirror, it looks like I may end up botching it. And so this is just going to be for me to also look back and see how jarring it is to watch this at 30 frames, because like I said, I normally do record at 60, especially when it's PlayStation 5 gameplay, because that generally runs at 60. Plus, at that point, my PlayStation 5, see the right mirror? See how that works? I don't know how they do that in real life, but I have to actually drive into the opposite lane. And is that how they would do it in real life, and kind of hope that traffic up ahead is aware of that? I've never really seen in real life, a truck like this pulling out of their beginner zone, if you will. So yeah, I was thinking of maybe getting an Alienware computer, but if I only play a couple of games on PC at 60 frames, I don't know if that'll be worth it right away, because right now I'm also testing this for myself to see how often am I dropping down to 45 frames for a couple of seconds. So this is also for me to kind of test, and then I'm going to watch it back on YouTube and see how yucky it is at 30 frames. So I've been playing a lot of Euro Truck Simulator. I bought a good amount of expansion packs and all this kind of stuff, like truck packs for wheels. And what I noticed is that it seems like Euro Truck Simulator has a lot more DLC. They have next to nothing when it comes to steering wheels, but you know something? I made a video on that. Hey, it's my turn, pal. Back it up, you bastard. So you could buy tire packs like the Michelin pack, and you'll actually get better tires. It'll actually show you the rating, like A, B, C, D, how it does on gravel or whatever, or how it handles the rain. And I'm like, that's really amazing. You can't get that in American Truck Simulator. However, again, in Euro Truck Simulator, you can't get any steering wheels. There's like next to none. I think most trucks have like one extra default steering wheel that you can get. So I made a video on how to incorporate all the steering wheels from the DLC from American Truck Simulator into Euro Truck. And the chain that I'm using right now That is the only modded steering wheel that you can get in Euro Truck by default. So that's cool. There's also a plethora of like barbels and all this kind of stuff, bumpers, tire trims. That wasn't really the smoothest transition there, but there's a lot of stuff that you can do to your truck in Euro. Like, I mean, it's insane, but not steering wheel. You know, the thing that you actually see. No one really drives and looks at the side of their truck like, oh yeah, look at that bumper. It's still nice to have, though. Also, when you look at overpasses and bridges in North America, even though I'm Canadian and this is the United States of America, you can tell you're in North America, if that makes any sense. I feel at home. Even though I'm Canadian, like I said, and I'm nowhere near, you know, Washington or California. Sure, the palm trees are going to be a lot different than what I got up here in Canada. But there's still a familiarity to how even the roads are laid out. In Europe, roads are a lot more winding. I don't know what it is, man, but those Europeans really, really like to just all over the place, even when it could have easily have been a straight road. Overpasses are completely different. It's almost hard to explain. When you drive underneath one and you just kind of look at the way it's all laid out, you're just like, yeah, there's something about that that's just not North American, you know? They've got their own unique flavor, if you will. One of my biggest pet peeves with Euro Truck Simulator is streetlights, which I know firsthand because I've seen them with my own two eyes. When you're at a red light, you actually have to go in this view to see when the light's going to go green. And the reason for that is because they don't have the light across the street so that you can actually see it out your windshield. So you can't tell when the light's going green unless you pay attention to the other traffic that's going through. You're like, they're crossing the road, it must be green, right? Whereas everywhere else in North America, they have the light across the street in the distance so that you can see it properly, not just like a foot in front of you. And then I'm all like playing around with my viewfinder and I was like, where the hell's the light? I can't even see it. So things like that, you noticed very, very quickly. Like I said, from the road layouts to even how bridges are designed. And, you know, some overpasses in Europe, they'll have like a lot of grass on them, almost like vines that attach. It's just like a very unique style. And I have to admit, what's really nice about Euro Truck Simulator 2 is just that, is that, no offense, it doesn't take place in America. No offense. Not everything's about the United States, right? In the media, video games, movies, right? USA, USA, USA. It's kind of like shoved down your throat. It's everywhere. So it's kind of nice to see different parts of the world, and how they do things, and how things look. You know, whether you're going to Italy or France or any of the balsamic countries. Yes, I said balsamic because I'm trying to be funny. Baltic, balsamic, whatever. You know, like the vinegar. And it's just such a nice change of pace. But I have to admit, even with the extra customization to the tires and all that kind of stuff, you know, the trucks are very odd in Europe as well. You know, they use the man and there's no woman. But they all have flat fronts. I guess that's why there's no women. They're all men. Get it? Man. That's the name of the man. Anyways, there's no curves. It's just flat in the front. And that's an interesting look. You can get that in North America as well. There's some older trucks. I forget the exact brand. But they had that. Oh, that was dangerous. Ooh, we came close there. You know, that have the front, the flat front, kind of like, what was I going to say? Like a bus. It's very rare to see that, at least in recent memory. So overall, I have to say most definitely I'm probably going to be a lot more aggressive with American Truck Simulator. Another thing I'm noticing as I'm rambling on 100 miles an hour, I gotta pay attention to where I'm going here. Sometimes I get screwed up looking at the route advisor, as I haven't dipped a frame yet. Normally I would have dipped a dozen times. So yeah, it's at 30 frames, but I haven't dipped. I could record it at 60 with the chance that it's going to keep dipping multiple times. So that's actually going to be more jarring than having a 30 frame recording. At least for some PC games. I think on the retail version of the update, so 1.39, I do believe I'm able to do 60 frames on that one. Again, this is open beta, right? For the 1.40. So I would be interested to know, if anybody even made it this far, if you've played Euro Truck Sim 2, American Truck Simulator, which ones you prefer more, and why? And then even more than that, which area do you hail from? Come on. Yeah, there's the same Cadillac as my dad, right there. Hey, Dad. I wanted to bump into him, but we'll try to make this semi-realistic. Yes, I'd be interested to know if you're like, oh yeah, oh, see, we got a little frame dip there. A little stutter. That could just be because of my computer. Like I said, it is quite old. It's an i7 6700. Non-K, not overclocked. 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM at only like 1300, I think, speed. Computer's 7 years old. At its time, it was quite phenomenal and expensive. But I did, last March, when the first lockdown occurred with COVID, I had treated myself to an RTX 2070 Super, and that set me back quite the dollar. It was like $950 Canadian with taxes. But it's proven to be an absolute monster, because even in this old computer, like I said, with most games that I play on my own, it's quite powerful. I've noticed a huge difference, even though I'm bottlenecked by my CPU. I can absolutely play some games a lot better than I could before, because I came from a GTX 970, which again, back in 2013 or 14 or whatever, that was, oops. That was a wonderful card. Gotta pay attention to our mirrors there. So I am driving the International Lodestar, I believe it's called. I think that's what it's called. It would help if I knew the names of the trucks I'm driving. And I like them. I think one of my only pet peeves with these video games, between the Euro Truck Sim and the American Truck Sim, is some of the newer trucks that are more like modernized looking, like this one. They'll have like a gradient tint at the top of the windshield. And it drives me bat-shit crazy. Like, I mean, absolutely nuts. Gotta move on it, Johnny boy. You and your old Caprice Classic. I hope you're not an undercover cop. Be ashamed if I drove you off the side of the road. This is how we do it in Canada. But yeah, I don't know. I just really like this game. I think it might look a little bit better. That could be the placebo effect. Maybe I'm making myself believe that. I believe it's the same engine, the same assets, all that technical stuff. But there's just something about it. And both are running the 1.40, by the way, with the enhanced lighting. But it really does feel, to me, like American Truck Sim looks a little less dated. However, both games to me look incredible. I mean, Euro Truck Simulator 2 is a whopping 9 years old. And I mean, wow. Double lines, that means you just never know. Traffic could be incoming, which it is. I also have no damage off, to be perfectly honest with you, because when I record, I don't want that stress of botching my XP because of damage. But when I play on my own, I do, however, have no damage. Off, that is. Oh, there's a police right there. A state trooper, or whatever they call them. But yeah, I gotta say, with the steering wheel, you know, I don't think I'd ever be able to go back to a controller, and I've mentioned that before. It's just so amazing. The only thing I don't like is it's very notchy, the Logitech G29. But I mean, for the price, I'm just not willing to spend more to get something that feels like with the force feedback, where you can, like, it doesn't jank like that. The vibration does that, like on the feedback, like it feels notchy. That's probably the best way for me to describe it. The resistance isn't smooth because I don't think this is a belt, like some of the Thrust, something master, and it starts with a T. It's probably a Thrustmaster. There's another company that's incredibly expensive as well that use like real belts, and it's like real feel of a steering wheel 100%. But you're going to pay, you know, triple the price. And I don't want to do that. At least not right now. Right now, I want to get, yeah, I'm driving in the wrong lane, I know. Right now, I just want to get a decent working computer. Like I said, this is like a 7-year-old potato, and it looks like we're doing okay. I think I only had one frame dip in about 17 minutes, so I can't really complain there. It's pretty decent. Again, I know I keep going on about this all the time, but like no two roads feel the same. It doesn't feel like it's just copy and pasted roads or areas, you know? And that is one of the beautiful things about this game. It's not like, this is going to be a really weird analogy comparison, but you'll know what I mean by this. It's not like playing Diablo 3 where everything just feels familiar, you know what I mean? Because you're just kind of like repeating the same areas. Some of the stuff is procedurally generated, but ultimately it kind of all looks the same, right? Except for some placement of stuff. Whereas this, that is definitely not the feeling that you get. I don't feel like I was just here, you know? Even though grass is green wherever you go, generally speaking. A tree's a tree. I can't look at that tree and go, hey, are we in Utah? No, wait. That must be North Carolina. You know what I mean? Like a tree's a goddamn tree. Unless we're talking palm trees. But... and then with how the lighting changes, like I said, with the weather effects and the clouds, it's absolutely just insane, beyond what words could describe. We got another little frame dip there, but I didn't really feel that. So I guess my point ultimately is that after all this time of streaming for about 20 minutes now, this is absolutely making a huge difference. We have discovered another recruitment agency. That is awesome. To recruit people that can drive for us automatically. That is really cool. We're still like a good 7 hours away, 500 kilometers from delivering this trailer, or whatever you want to call it. And my shin is itchy, and I don't want to cause an accident as a result. Yeah, so that gradient, like I said, for the, you could see it a little bit, the tint right above the back of the red truck, you could see how it's like bright baby blue and then it's a little bit darker. And I get it that part of that's the clouds, but it's also partially because of the tint and because I have really terrible OCD. It kind of bothers me a little bit. It's like the mirrors, how they're not perfectly flush at the top left and the top right. There's actually a mod for that, which I'm thinking of maybe using. I think it would make it look a little bit cleaner. Same thing with that navigator. There was supposed to be a navigator that brings that whole thing on the right there all at the bottom or at the top, like a little thin strip, so it looks cleaner and I could see more of my dash. The problem is, it doesn't work. Mind you, again, I'm in the open beta, so it could be that I need to undo the beta, even though it says the mod's compatible, and that I go back to the 1.39, which I might do, and kind of just wait for 1.40 to be like officially released, to not be like an open beta. But I got to admit though, overall, this is pretty smooth. My biggest, I shouldn't use the word complaint. That's not a proper word. I'm not complaining. The biggest thing I've noticed is at night, lights don't flare out normally. They look really bizarre. So there's definitely like a lighting issue. Oh, a little accident there. AI is really smart in this game. I've talked about this before. But once in a while, I mean, just like in real life, there's some dumb fucks out there. So there can be accidents. You know, I'm just so addicted to this game. It's really kind of made me appreciate... Not that I didn't appreciate truckers before, that's the wrong thing to say. Because I used to deliver and drive for a living as well, just not truck. I delivered pizza. But that's not the point. I was still delivering stuff, okay? It was just small boxes instead of, you know, big whopping machinery and other vehicles. And I've spoken to a few truckers, and it was always something that appealed to me. Being in a nice, gigantic truck, something so powerful and torquey. Sure, you can't do the quarter mile in however many seconds, but I don't care about that stuff. I've always been a cruiser, not a speeder, if that makes any sense. You know? Like, to me, cruising around at 60 to 80 miles an hour, you know, in American terms, that's all great, or in Canadian equivalent, you know, about 120 to 130 kilometers an hour. Sure, that's all nice and everything, but I'm more about gas efficiency and actually enjoying the view around me. You know, like just, whoops, taking it all in. That's what I'm more about. And then you're sitting up higher. You know, it's just, there's just something about it. Plus, I've been in one of these trucks. I've driven one of these some couple of decades ago, briefly, in a parking lot. But it was a huge parking lot, okay? It was a Walmart parking lot. And I got to drive one of these without a trailer. And, wow, it was something. It was something. Same thing with like a dump truck. I've driven one of those as well. Because I've always loved driving. A couple of decades ago, and then some, when I had my own car, I used to just cruise around, listen to a little music, take it easy, do the speed limit. Sometimes I'd actually go under a little bit if there was nobody behind me and I was on a road like this. And I would just take it all in, you know? All the sounds of nature and everything. It was just a blast. It was a lot of fun. So imagine like driving across the state or Canada or whatever country you're in, you know? This is a random road event. Again, you can actually lower the amount of these. But it does seem like it would be stressful as well. You know, like if you get stuck or you've got to You gotta back up your truck there. That's not an easy thing to do. To get, like, try parallel parking this bastard. You know, of course it can be done. But it would probably be nearly impossible. We're going on almost a half hour. I might stop it at the 30-minute mark, to be honest with you. We got the police passing me now. See, even just like the clouds, like how some of them are getting a little bit darker. I'm just blown away. This game is like barely 5 gigabytes. What the hell? But yeah, I'm so into this game that I just want to go ahead and buy. I believe I'm only missing one state. I think it's Colorado, and that's obviously where, you know, Stan and Cartman, and Randy and all them from South Park are at. It'd be nice to visit them. I like Colorado a lot. But I like Phoenix as well, and that's where my home base is in this game. Good old state of Arizona. I've never been to it. One of my best friends is from there. I could just tell from all the states I've actually visited in real life in the States. And then all the Google mapping I've been doing with the real street view. It's kind of like you're right there. I can tell that Arizona would be one of my favorite states. Nevada as well. More in the desert part. Not right in Las Vegas. That would be, like, no offense, the last place on earth I'd want to go to. Definitely not my scene. I kind of like being on the outskirts of the city. You know, in the country, kind of like this, but not too far away from Walmart and Best Buy. In case I gotta do some shopping. I don't want to have to drive several hours. This could be a little tricky. Coming through. The variety of trucks and vehicles that you come across, you know, it's the same thing with them. It's not just copied and pasted. I mean, sure, there's some of them, like, you know, you drive in this game for a real 10 hours, you're going to see a lot of Mustangs and Cadillacs, but, you know, just overall, it's not like Grand Theft Auto, where it feels like, you know, there's only a couple of cars in the game. Especially the older Grand Theft Autos. That was a little bit immersive breaking. But also when Grand Theft Auto Vice City, for example, came out, that was huge, right? I remember when I bought a PlayStation 2 for that, and my friends were playing on the original Xbox at the time, right? Because the first Xbox came out when the PlayStation was already on their second console. And originally, Vice City and I believe Grand Theft Auto 3, I could be wrong, were exclusive to PlayStation. I know that Vice City was, because I actually had an Xbox. I wasn't able to find a PlayStation. And then when Vice City came out, I was like, yeah, we definitely need a PlayStation. But I already had the PlayStation 1, and, you know, now I'm kind of talking about another subject, but there we go. I'll turn on my lights just for the fun of it. In real life, sometimes I'll take up double lanes if there's nobody behind me, depending on what's going on. I think I've been on this road before. Let's go. Yeah, I have, because you can tell, and what's really cool about this game is wherever it's like yellow, you've been there. So I've literally been on this street before, but where I'm about to go, which I get it, there's a red bar, but I don't think I've been there. So where I'm about to turn right, for me, it'll be new uncharted territory, I think. We'll find out in a moment. Remember that familiarity thing I was talking about? Oh, a little bit of a frame dip. Ooh, a nasty one there, actually. Very nasty one. We're actually stuck. Ooh, in the 50 frames. Wow, that was jarring. I think from here on forth, this is now new land. Yeah. Because even though we're driving and we see the red bar, or at least I see it behind my pumpkin head there. Yeah, we're stuck in that 50 frame per second. So something definitely happened. Could just be the game. Open beta, combination of a 7-year-old CPU. I don't know why my dog is barking. Rocky, zip it. I'm trying to record. My pug barks at the wind. When I take him for a walk in the fall and the leaves fall, he'll bark at them and chase them. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, so we're definitely not going to finish this trip on this playthrough or in this recording, but we'll do a good part of it. Like I said, for me, this is also therapeutic. I get to share my thoughts and just kind of ramble. It's almost like a vlog in a way, like a verbal diary. Not verbal diarrhea. Well, actually, it probably is in some ways, because I'm just spewing it right out. Oh, there, the cop was like, yeah, go on in the incoming lane. What do we got there? Get to work, boys. Yes, just the way the lights reflect, you can kind of see it a little bit. You could just tell it's a little bit off. You could see the stars. Man, that new lighting system, I gotta say, is really nice. But yeah, overall, you know, I guess I will start saying it now that if you enjoyed the video and you made it this far, you're crazy. Speak with your doctor now. You could go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Greatly helps support the channel with the algorithm. See the lights? How it comes out? It's just weird. And if, yeah, so when people are searching the internet and all that, I'm more likely to be found. It makes me more relevant the more thumbs up I have. That's how it tickles Google's algorithm that owns YouTube. And if you didn't like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs down, and I'll make sure for the rest of your life you see as if it's always nighttime. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, I mean, naturally that would be well appreciated. But if not, thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care. Ooh, it's getting real dark. And maybe I shall see you in the next video. Bye for now. As I'm still here. I just wanted to do that so when I'm done, I can just end it. But yeah, we're 300 kilometers away. Not gonna lie, I am a little tempted to go the extra mile. Let's just see what happens. See the lights? See, like, behind me? I don't know, that just doesn't look real to me. That's my high beams. I wish there were interior lights so I could see inside the cabin a little bit better. But then again, with, you know, the push of a button. Please pull in. Well, I would. Oh. Well, I didn't know it was there because the stupid warning took up the, like, took up the whole navigation screen, so I couldn't tell where it was. It's a little bit of a detour there. Coming through there, Jimmy boy. But we'll go to that wait. Whoops. No one's coming there. Guess we'll go to the wait station, do the right thing. Otherwise, I think you get fined, even though I don't have traffic violations on. It'll just make it a little bit more realistic. Thank you for your cooperation. All right. Should be good to go. Again, with this truck in real life, how would they do that? I think it's to go out wide and then almost go like in the grass. Because the wider you turn, the more room you give your, you know, your trailer or whatever. Man, it is dark as hell. I normally skip time, to be honest, but I get it. That's not the most realistic thing. Or I'll just pull into a resting place and I'll sleep, but never on the job, because that'll affect your time. See, like a real turn like this in real life, that's got to be a little bit tricky, especially when you have posts and signs in the way. Just another couple of 100 kilometers, 3 hours in game, depending on how fast I drive. That could end up 70 miles an hour, but truck 65, really? I forget if that's what it looks like in the States. 70 miles an hour. Really? Can you really drive 70 miles an hour? We're not quite in Idaho. We're still in the state of Oregon now, I think. Yeah. And we're about to go into Nevada. Okay, that makes sense, because I know in Nevada there's some places where there's almost no speed limit, like it's incredibly fast. That I know for a fact. 70 miles an hour. That's a good speed. But back in the 60s, driving in Canada, you actually had a sign for nighttime. And you had to slow down when it was nighttime. A good 10 to 15 kilometers less to compensate, right? Because you don't see as well, obviously. Sometimes trucks and stuff will also flash their lights. It's pretty interesting. I don't know if they're doing that just to say hello or if they're trying to warn you that there's cops. So this truck I really do like. However, the top speed seems to be a lot lower than other trucks in its class with the same engine. So I'm kind of excited to level up and hit level 12. I think that's when I can get a new engine and transmission. I think. Hopefully be able to go a little bit faster. But yeah, depending on how the road is, this should be pretty smooth sailing. $130 kilometers an hour is a good speed. But yeah, I'm still having a bit of a hard time finding my perfect truck with a combination of not having any of that window tint and trying to get around that OCD of it. But I like the Peterbilt, the Kensworth W800, sorry, I think it's called. The Lone Star, the Volvo's not too bad. What was the other one? Something Star 49X. Man, that windshield inside view, I feel like I'm in a really small, narrow airplane cockpit. Not too sure I like that. Yeah, we're almost down to 100 kilometers. Definitely after this am I going to rest in the game so that I can skip the night. I don't enjoy the night for obvious reasons because it's so bloody dark. You can't see shit. I wish there was like a really bright full moon in the sky every night that kind of kept it lit up a little bit better, a little bit nicer. As I've mentioned before, I'm really excited to see the future of games like this. Like imagine American Truck Simulator 2. Right? I mean, I know they're doing a big improvement to this, and I'm not saying this isn't good enough. I'm just saying this game being 5 years old, imagine the next generation what they'll be able to do. Imagine like a game like this with like Red Dead Redemption 2 graphics. With HDR and all that stuff. Yeah, we are almost there. So that trip in real life. Oof. About 45 minutes. 45, 50 minutes, depending on how long it takes me to get to the end here. Nice thing is you can obviously save at any point. Doesn't really matter. Then you can choose, you know, preferred length of job. If you want to do like multiple small trips versus like one big one, you'll obviously get more money and XP, obviously. The longer the trip is. So yeah, I'll probably still cover a little bit of a Euro Truck Simulator. Probably won't play it as much as this one though in terms of my focus. But I'm definitely going to delve into it. These games are very time consuming to begin with, is what I mainly mean. It's not because I don't like Euro Truck. Oh, would you move it? I should have just passed them, but we're so close and I haven't had an accident yet. I figured I didn't want one right at the end. For real, though. You're one slow bastard. Come on, 7 kilometers left, and this is where you... I think someone's coming. Oh, that was not a good idea. Oh, that was close. Again, go wide. At least I think that's how you're supposed to do that. And that kind of helps with the trailer. Because, I mean, I've seen them in real life, like for an instance here. You know, where they'll turn, but they'll kind of go like this if obviously no cars are coming. They'll just do big Y turns. Yeah, 45 minutes. People walking around at 1 o'clock in the morning, like it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. What's there to do in Winnemucca? Don't even tell me that you know where that is. I don't care if you're American. You don't know where Winnemucca is. Oh, that feels good. Let's play it safe. 50. God damn, I need a new chair. Oh, that's gonna be almost impossible. Well, I shouldn't say impossible, but it's gonna be a little tricky. If I can't do it, I'll just hit enter. I've got no shame. We just gotta make sure that we're all the way in. You know what I'm saying? And we don't want to clip the trailer, which we just about did. Yeah. And that's a physics thing. Oh, come on, it's on the curb. I'm right at the end, you bastard. Drive for 45 minutes? No problem. Get right here and it's like... This is where I get stuck. Come on, you bastard. Yay! Oh, man. Almost 2,000 XP. Wow, almost brought us to level 12, actually. Current... Yeah, I'm totally done here, but I am curious to see. I mean, I'll take it, but I'm not recording this. Absolutely not. Alright. That's it for me. I've already said my piece earlier on. Maybe I'll see some of you in the next video. Bye for now.